disclosure, I have a cold, and it's a very poorly timed cold, and it sucks. Hi guys, my name is Sam, this is the Potager Knits podcast, and I'm coming to you from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and my very messy craft desk. Oh, I forgot about my dinosaur tea strainer here. That works. Yeah. I'm just trying to make it over here. Just trying to make it through this cold and trying to keep from getting sicker. If you want to find me around the internet, I can be found on Instagram at Potager Knits and on Ravelry at Elrindrosamore. Both of those links will be down in the description, as well as anything else that I talk about today. I'm going to take a sip of this very, very hot Earl Grey tea that I just made. I love Earl Grey. So good. So this mug, by the way, is my brand new mug that I just got this past weekend from a local artist named Maya Wasikeski. Here's her card. She's so great. We know her family from the theater community, and we just happened to see that they were at the little flea market that we went to, and I bought some of her stuff. This little mug is perfect for me because I'm really bad at finishing my tea, but this is like the perfect amount of tea for me. I'll finish it before it gets cold. I also got this cool this cool bowl from her. It has dragons on it. I love it. I love it. It's just my little tea strainer. I just didn't want to get tea all over my desk. All right, so got a couple things going on that I wanted to share. I do have a giveaway going on Instagram right now. It's running until Sunday, so you still have a chance to join if you'd like. And that's just for some basic seeds. I do have those here. So I have 3 of these packs of seeds. You can go over to Instagram and you can see the varieties that are in there. It's lots of really, really good staples. And I wanted to share them as kind of a celebration of my first gardening vlog being up, which is pretty cool. So I'm very excited that I finally got to start gardening vlogging this year. I have a lot to talk about. I'm going to talk about some of it later in this podcast. But yeah, so that's my first giveaway going on, like I said, till Sunday. You just have to, I think I said, just like the post and then comment something that you're excited to garden this year. So that's the first one. But I am running a little flash giveaway right now that I decided, like, just the other day that I wanted to do now. So because of all the stuff going on with the coronavirus, I wanted to try to help maybe alleviate some people's anxiety. I know that I've been spinning a lot. You can see my little spinning basket here. I'm going to talk about that during whips. I've been spinning a lot, so I know that that's been a very, like, calming activity for me. And I know a lot of people have wanted to get into spinning, but, like, didn't know where to start, or, like, couldn't find a drop spindle or whatever. So I actually one of my local yarn stores is closing, which is really sad, but they just happened to have 2 drop spindle kits that they were selling, and I was like, I'll support them while they're closing. So I have 2 drop spindle kits. I really like this drop spindle. I bought one of them before. I don't know, like, what the brand is or if it's just, like, someone local, but they're really nice. It's one with a notch. It's a really good size. I've really liked working with mine. So one of them has this, like, darker red with it. And the other one, the spindle's exactly the same, but there's, like, a pinker fiber with it. They're both wool. I don't really have much information on them. And I might also throw in a little bit of extra fiber to get you started, but it's a decent amount. Like, this is a decent amount, so it will give you a good start. So I am going to run a little flash giveaway until Sunday on these. So if people are, practicing good social distancing and staying home, but maybe need something to, like, take their mind off things, or, there's nothing better than learning a new craft to do that. So yeah, I've got 2 of these to give away. Head over to Instagram and I'll have the information over there, and I'm going to run it till Sunday at noon, and then I'm just going to draw for everything in the afternoon on Sunday and announce all the winners. So yeah, new giveaway. We like giveaways, don't we? Okay, so let's get into the content of this knitting podcast. I just want to kind of I put it in a protective outer bag because my stupid cat likes to chew on plastic, so I'm trying to, like, not send chewed on plastic bags to other people's houses, you know. I try. I'm really proud of him, though. He just kind of, like, fell asleep in the corner over here, and he's usually just, like, ramming into my tripod. Alright. I'm gonna do a quick acquisition thing here, just because I keep forgetting to talk about it when I film these, and I only have a couple. So, first acquisition. I went to a yarn shop. I think I'm gonna put that as a little intro here today. I kind of went on an adventure the other day, because I wanted to go to the seed store, and there just happened to be a yarn shop, like, 2 minutes down the road, so I decided to check it out. And actually, she just changed her name, Fennel and Fiber. Used to be Nitty Bit Happy. She has a podcast, and Misa was actually talking about this yarn on her podcast, and when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, you know what? I could kind of use something like that. So it's self-striping yarn. It's 2 matching balls, so you can actually make 2 matching socks. I'm going to do 2 at a time socks with this. I don't know when. But yeah, it's Earth Yarn's unique sock. So 75 merino, 25 nylon, and superwash. Yeah, that'll be some good 2 at a time socks. I'm not casting them on just this moment, just because I'm doing pretty good about getting other projects done, and I really still have that goal of trying to finish all of my whips and have a clean slate, which I haven't had for a really long time. And I'm pretty good towards that goal, so I'm holding myself to it, but I think this might be like one of the first things that I cast on once I get through that. And then I've got another kind of funny bag of acquisitions. So I went to this place called Lancaster Creative Reuse, which is a, like, it's not all recycled materials, but it's kind of like a flea market, almost. Not a flea market. I don't really know how to describe it. It is a store full of craft supplies that were rescued from being thrown away. And I actually have a bag of knitting needles that I think I'm going to take there the next time I go, because I don't need them. I replaced a lot of my circular needles with my leaky set, so I don't need to have, like, all of these extra ones hanging around. So I'd rather them go to someone who could use them. So I went there. I didn't really have a super big goal. I thought maybe I would see if there was anything that I would be interested in. I did get this, like, let me see if I can reach it from here. I got one of these guys. I've been looking at organization things because I've been making myself and my friends some stitch markers. I don't have a lot of stuff. You can't even see most of the stuff in there. But there's stuff in there. I got a couple little charms that I'm going to turn into progress keepers, like this little teeny teapot. There we go. It's going to be hard to show. Tiny teapot. Yeah, so all of the stuff that I have in here that I've been planning on turning into progress keepers or stitch markers or what have you, they're all in here now. I just saw some stuff in the wrong slot. It must have fallen. Yeah. So it's kind of nice. And all my little tools are in here too. So that was like 75 cents. And then I got to a section where they had some wood type stuff. And I found a whole bunch of basket weaving supplies. Ton. Like, so many. And basket weaving has been something that I wanted to try again. There's also this. Oh, look at these. So I'm going to try to weave some baskets. I've done basket weaving before, actually. Oh, God. Dropping things everywhere. I've done basket weaving before when I was younger. I actually have a berry basket that is hanging out in my kitchen right now that I've used. I mostly just store napkins in it right now, but I made that. I've made a pine needle basket, which was really cool. So it's something that I just want to try a little bit more of because, you know, I'm just kind of like one of those people that just wants to try every single craft that there is available. So that's one of the things I want to try. And then I also, in that general area section, found this cool little thing. It's just a teeny tiny loom. I don't really know what I'm going to make with this, but it was like $1. And in the same bag, there was this kind of cool knife, and I don't really know what it was supposed to be for, but it has a cool handle and a little sheath, and it's like, it's a little dirty. It looks like maybe it was carving wax of some sort, so it's gonna need to be cleaned off. I might soak it in some like Goo Gone or something to see if I can get the gunk off of it and then sharpen it. But yeah, if anyone has seen this knife before and knows what it's for, hit me up, let me know, because I'm very curious. I'm gonna look up this name because maybe that's like the brand, who knows. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff there. I definitely want to go back. It's a nice place to get supplies. They had a lot of sewing supplies too. So before I go to regular stores, it's only like 40 minutes away for me to get there. It's not too bad, and it's in a cool area with lots of other little shops, so it's not bad to like make a trip out there to see what they have. So yeah, when I have other projects that I want to work on, I'll probably head out there first to see what they have before I head to a normal store. All right, so that's all of my acquisitions. Pop that under there so I don't lose track of it. And let's get into finished objects. I do have 4 finished objects today because I've been doing very well with the finishing up my whips project that I started. So my first one is my Underwing Mitts. This pattern is so beautiful. I love them so much. Ah, look at that. Yeah, totally in love with how they turned out. So the yarn that I used is Knit Picks. I keep wanting to say Wool of the Andes, but it's Stroll Tweed, their sock yarn. And then this little detail is from Catskill Merino. And the white was something that I got in a D-stash. It was just like a lot of fingering weight yarn, and I thought it was nice. So yeah, it goes together really well. I really like how the white has like some speckles of gray and like a tan color, so it's not just completely solid color. And that looks cool in like the moon motif. You can kind of see this is the back side. So yeah, these are really cool. My only thing is they're a little small for my hand, like in this area. So like I can get them on, no problem. I'll show you. And like they fit, like I can get them on my hand comfortably. They even fit over my Fitbit, but it just feels tight in this area. I like to have a little bit more movement. So I was thinking of maybe doing them again in a slightly larger needle size, maybe. I haven't decided. I do know that my gauge gets a little bit tight with color work, so it's very possible that this was just a me problem, but my hands aren't like skinny, so yeah. But it still looks cute. I'm still very happy with them, so I do plan on making another pair. Also, hopefully by like closer to the fall time, I'll be more practiced in color work so I can make them less lumpy, because I'm still getting better at color work, so admittedly could have been better, but yeah, I'm still very happy with these and I'm glad that I made them. My next finished object is my what is it called? Memories of Juneau shawl. That's the wrong side. This is the right side. So this is my Memories of Juneau shawl. The yarn is from Northern Bee Studio, and it was a gift to me from my dad and stepmom from when they went on their Alaska cruise last year. Yeah, I like it. It's a nice, simple triangle shawl. You know how I feel about those. They're like one of my favorite things to wear with my nice black t-shirts. I love these colors. I'm really glad that they picked out these colors for me, because there were there's two different sets of minis that were made specifically for this pattern, and they picked this one, and it's definitely my thing. Also, this blue, it's probably kind of hard to see, but there's like tiny little dark blue speckles in it, and it's so cute. I love it. Anyway, yeah, I love it. I'm gonna wear it a lot. I like a good, like, mindless garter stitch shawl to knit. I've done a few of those in the past year. So this, like I said, this is the Memories of Juneau shawl. It's a basic triangle shawl, and you kind of throw in a row of eyelets wherever you feel so compelled. I really liked, if you're looking for a good triangle shawl, I did the Night Train shawl. That was the one that I did with the Christmas yarn. That was another really easy one. And then if you want something a little bit more, I really liked the Whiskey in a Teacup shawl. I believe that one's also a free pattern. All three of these are free patterns. Whiskey in a Teacup was the one that I did with my Halloween yarn last year, and that one has some edge shaping and it has a little bit more guidance about where you should put things, and I actually followed, I think, the picture that they had and put my rows in approximately the same section. I really liked how they turned out. So yeah, I really like this. Highly recommend if you're looking for something simple. Next, I did something. I knit the rippled bralette. I've been meaning to make one of these for a while, and I've actually had this yarn set aside to knit this pattern for a while, but it wasn't top of my priority list during the winter. I very much knit things that I know that I'm going to be able to wear soon. So yeah, I think I'm going to be knitting a lot of socks this summer as opposed to sweaters and stuff. But yeah, so I knit this nipple. I said nipple. I almost said nipple. And now I did say nipple. I knit this rippled bralette for myself. It's based on my measurements. My wife has requested that I make one in her measurements as well. And she wanted to pick the yarn, which, like, of course she gets to pick the yarn for her own rippled bralette. So I'll eventually knit one for her as well. I tried this on underneath my overalls, and I actually just got, from Target, some, like, linen overalls. Farmer Sam. So I'm really looking forward to wearing this under those so that I don't have to wear, like, a proper top sometimes. It fits really well. They always look really funny when they're not on, because it's like, how, come on, like, how could that, but it stretches so much. Yeah, these colors are not what I normally would pick. The yarn is Ancient Arts Yarns in their BFL base, and the color is I Met Stephen West and I Liked It, which I thought was really funny. Yeah, not my normal color scheme, but when I saw it in the store, it was on sale. It was on clearance, and I just needed it because it's so cool, and I'm glad that I did. I did alternate skeins, so what I can say is I ended up with some tight edges when I was switching yarns, but that's really my only thing, and that was completely my fault, so yeah. I love it. I'm going to wear it a lot this summer. And then my last FO is actually on the floor right now. It's the poof! So, if you've been following me on Instagram, I kind of talked about the poof a little bit. So I started this at the beginning of the year as a project to go with the trash chair that I'm sitting in right now. I wanted to have a nice footrest type poof thing, so that, yeah, you can kind of relax in this little crafting reading corner area. So I had found a pattern and it just wasn't working. I tried 2 times to make it work, and it was just something not working for me. It might have been my gauge, maybe it was because I was holding 2 worsted weight yarns together, which I think was what you were supposed to do, but I could be wrong. Yeah, for whatever reason, I just couldn't get it to work for me, so I decided I was going to just go off on my own and come up with my own concept. So what I did was I actually started going back and forth with Tunisian crochet here. I'm not super familiar with Tunisian crochet techniques, so this is still new to me, but it was a lot of fun to work through this, so just blah, 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 all the way around until it was as wide as I wanted it to. Then I took a old body pillow that we wanted to get rid of, and I coiled it in a circle and jammed it in the middle, and I actually jammed a second pillow inside of it so that it was more firm. And then I went on the top, and I also wrapped the whole thing in the old body pillow cover just so that it was a little smoother. It's still pretty lumpy, but, like, I don't care, it's for my feet. So then I just crocheted in a spiral all the way to the center, decreasing, same on the bottom, and you have a poof. Like I said, it's nice and firm, so it's nice, like, you don't put your feet on and it sinks all the way to the floor, which, like, defeats the purpose of putting your feet up on a poof. But it does, wow, oh, look at this lighting. It's really cloudy, but there's, like, a thinner spot in the clouds, and it's just, like, oh yes, soft glow. Wow, oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, it's nice and firm, and it's, like, the perfect height for this chair, and while I've been sitting here with my feet up, I felt so comfortable. So, that's a good thing that I got going on over here. And I have my feet up on it again. So that was all scrap yarns. I wanted to try to use up materials that I had in my house that I didn't want to just throw away. So, like, the pillows, The one pillow was just a body pillow that we had that we replaced because it was getting pretty flat, and the other one was a pillow that I actually had specifically bought for stuffing ornaments. But now, because I do my Ort jar, which is back there somewhere, and save all the little yarn scraps and I stuff my ornaments with that, I don't really need to have stuffing around, so it just kind of worked out. I put it all together and I made this thing, and I emptied out my scrap bin almost. I just have like one little bag of scrap yarns now, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's all of my FOs. Let's go on to works in progress. Oh god, I love tea. Alright, so first up, let's talk about my Rift tee. So I haven't done a whole hell of a lot of work on this week, but I have worked on it a little bit. And I actually put it on a longer needle so you can actually see the whole thing. It's not just kind of scrunched up like it was before. So here is my Rift tee so far. I am using Woodwool Stone yarn, which is a local yarn dyer. Yeah. Don't have a lot to say about this. I thought I was further than I was. For some reason, I had convinced myself that I had done all of the rows that I had planned on doing for below the bust. But then I measured it and I realized I hadn't even reached the recommended number of rows, and I had been planning on going a little bit further because I wanted it to be longer than that. Oops. So I do have plenty to work on this, but right now I've been focusing on my test knit sweater, so I haven't worked on it a ton, but I do want to get this done for the spring so that I can wear it. The yarn is really pretty, so it is... I've got 2 cakes of this, and it is a gradient to a blue, so it'll be really cool when I get closer to like the shoulders and the arms. It's probably going to transition to blue, and yeah, it's going to be cute. Yeah, I have an interchangeable needle US 8 on a longer cable. I think I was knitting my nether garments on these, so it just so happened that I had a nice long cable, so it's much easier to knit like this than when it was all scrunched up on the smaller needle, so that makes me happy. And that is actually living in this Tesla Knits bag that I really like. It's a drawstring Bathing Beauties bag. I love this with all the ladies on it. I use this a lot, and it's a nice big bag too. I can fit a lot in there. So that's one. Next, I am very susceptible to knit-alongs. Like, even when I have convinced myself that I'm not going to cast on something because I'm trying to finish other projects, if there's a knit-along, I just might. Especially, like, general knit-alongs, not so much. Like, I'm not going to randomly cast on something for, like, a knit-a-sweater-along or something like that. But if it's like, hey, we're going to all knit this one pattern, I'm in. I give in to peer pressure easily in that regard. So this is the hard Rime Hat, I believe it's pronounced. And here's how far I am. I haven't worked on this a whole lot recently, but it's turning out really cool. I know a lot of people are using like this white yarn that just has little rainbows every once in a while, which is really cool. I decided just to go full rainbow, and it's also just because this is the yarn that I had on hand. I'm trying not to buy a whole lot of yarn right now, if it's not necessary. Other than, you know, when you're going to test knit a sweater that you decide to volunteer for, but that was only $30. It's fine. Anyway, yeah, so the yarn that I'm using, I actually had pulled from another project that just wasn't working out for me. You know, sometimes you have the best intentions with the project. I really love the pattern. I really love this yarn, but there was just something not vibing for me with it. So I decided to go back to the drawing board with the yarn. So the gray yarn is QJH Cashmere, which was something that was a gift from my dad for Christmas a couple years ago. I believe he bought it on like AliExpress or one of those sites. So I don't really know a whole lot about it, and Ravelry had some information, but not a lot. It's pretty. It has a halo, which is kind of cool, kind of like a mohair. And then, yeah, the rainbow is from my local yarn store, not the one that's closing, the one that I do legitimately go to as frequently as I need to go to a local yarn store. And it is her, like the owner, Shay's own line of yarn called Chromodynamics, Schrodinger sock, and it's shiny. So I have sparkly rainbow. This was the Pride colorway. I actually already have a pair of socks out of it, so I have a partial ball of this left. Thought it was perfect to work up into this hat. And I actually, another thing my dad gave me is his old iPad, which was perfect because my old iPad does not run Knit Companion. So now I can run Knit Companion and I don't have to print out patterns anymore. So I'm very, very thankful to have that. It allows me to work through charted patterns without having to waste a lot of paper. Like, I still own a printer, but we really only use it for, like, occasional tickets, which that isn't even really necessary most of the time anymore, and printing out patterns, so now I can reduce my need for a printer, too. Anyway, I digress. So, yeah, that is my hard Rime hat. I have that in my Tomboy Femme bag. Da, da, da. This is the Emily Dickinson one, right? Yes, yes. And then I also on here have, this is another acquisition, I ordered the, she goes by Fennel and Fiber. She just changed her name this morning, but Fennel and Fiber, she was Nitty But Happy. She makes really pretty stitch markers, and this was my March mystery marker of the month. And I really like it because it reminds me of buttered popcorn jelly belly beans. Jelly belly beans. Jelly belly beans. And yeah. It looks so cute with this pat. Like, oh, so cute. Aesthetic. So good. And then, next, we're just moving right along here today. Oh, I got a buddy right down here. Louie, you're being such a good boy for a change. Next, my pattern test. So, I'm trying not to, like, knock everything off of the end. So I actually finished the whole back panel of my writer's block cardigan, which is something that I'm test knitting for World Knits. And the sunshine is beautiful, but it's making it a little bit hard to see the colors, but it is black and rainbow because you know how I am, Goth Rainbow. That's my name. That's my nickname. No coughing, Sam. Yes, so rainbows, and it goes all the way through. So yeah, it's just a garter stitch, mostly garter stitch pattern with some ribbing, and you alternate skeins, and it's all knit in pieces as well, so it's all seamed together at the end. So I have the biggest piece done now, and I just have to move on to, I'm working on the first front piece now. So yeah, look at that. Look at all that rainbow. I'm sorry. I'm actually in a pretty good mood despite having a cold. Anyway, I don't really have a lot to say about this other than I'm really enjoying the pattern. This is the affordable yarn that I bought. So the black is Lion Brand Heartland in Black Canyon, and then the rainbow color that's striping in it is Lion Brand Ferris Wheel in Imaginary Garden. And I only spent $30 on all the yarn that it's going to take for me to make this whole big slouchy sweater because I used some coupons and I bought affordable yarn. So yeah, it's going to be cute. It's going to be comfy. I'm going to love it. I'm going to wear it all the time. And then my last whip is actually right here, spinning. And it's also an acquisition because I bought myself a new toy. This is my new toy. I actually just finished this bobbin yesterday. It's a half bobbin, and this is my electric Eel Nano. I've wanted a spinning wheel for a while, and unfortunately it is out of my price range, and also I live in a one-bedroom apartment, so I don't have space to have a whole spinning wheel in my house. But I wanted to get into spinning more, and this is a really affordable way to do that. This is actually the newer version, so this was about $110, which is hundreds of dollars cheaper than getting any other wheel, electric or not. And yeah, they still have the previous version, which I know some people said they had some issues with, like sound-wise, but there's a lot of really good mods that you can get it. But if you do want to just try it out, it's like $50 to $75, which is still a lot of money, but comparatively, like if you want to save up for something, this is a decent option. So yeah, I'm just working through some fiber that I've had around. So this is Crafticorn by Landon. I'm spinning this multiple ways just because there's a lot of it and I really like the colors and it's been fun to play with. So I had already spun a ton of it. This is a single that's made into a cake. I was doing 2-ply from that, and then I did change my mind about continuing to do 2-ply, so I have a little bit of 2-ply, which I'm just gonna skein up and thwack and clean. I decided that the rest of this cake I'm going to actually chain ply on a drop spindle. So this was all drop spindle spun. And then I have one more little chunk of this in this bag. I think it's pretty nicely wrapped up. Yeah. So I've got one more chunk of it left in this bag. And I'm actually going to spin that on another. Stop playing with plastic bags. You can't eat plastic. It's bad for you. Bye. I'm actually going to spin that on another spindle and then try doing a 2-ply on this because I haven't plied on this yet. So, cool, fun toy for Sam. I'm excited. I had a little bit of problems with it last night and I realized it's because my bobbin was not completely snapped together right because they do come in pieces. Like, you get bobbin pieces in a little baggie. So I just need to be careful with that in the future. It was having a hard time uptaking the yarn because my bobbin wasn't snapped. My bobbin wasn't snapped together enough. The first thing that I spun on it was some of this purple fiber, which is, I think it's called like Fiber Obsession. I'm really super tangled up here. Come here. Yeah, I think it's called Fiber Obsession. I got it in a D-stash fiber lot of like a bunch of stuff. I think I had talked about that, but it's really pretty. It's got like greens, blues, magentas, purple, and it's called Spring and Bloom. And I'm feeling very springy, so here's what that looks like spun up. You can't really see the colors that much, but you get the idea. And I did definitely overspin this. You can kind of see the squigglies where I overspun it. Still getting the hang of the wheel, so it's fine. I have plenty of fiber to play with. So, yeah. That was a fun little toy that I bought for myself. I got my bonus at work and decided that that's how I wanted to spend it, was this. So that's my, like, messy spinning basket. I actually got this from the yarn store that was closing. They had a bunch of baskets for sale. They had another one of these. They had a really big bushel basket for sale, so I actually got it to use for actual harvesting this summer because I'm hopefully going to have a lot of harvest, but this smaller one is holding my fiber stash. Yeah. Spinning! Don't forget to enter the giveaway. If you haven't already, go do it now. Yeah, so that's all of my work in breath stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna ramble for a moment, I believe. Lewis. Hi, buddy. You come up here? Come here. No, don't touch the tripod. Come here. Come here. I can lift you from here. Come here. Hey. You want to sit in my lap? There you go. You can see his ears. So I had a lot of really good news this past week. I signed up for a garden plot at the community garden, and I had been really nervous that I wasn't going to get one because it's really competitive. A lot of people go to sign up, and there's 318 or some spaces, something like that, which seems like a lot, but there's a lot of people in the area who want to garden because it's, you know, a city. So I live in the suburbs, but I live in an apartment, so I don't really have opportunity to garden other than on my balcony, so I decided I was going to go for it this year. So I got 2 garden plots. Yeah, I got there in time, and they said, yeah, you're allowed to have as many as you want. And I'm like, 2! I kind of panicked. So I'm going to have plenty of space to experiment this year. So basically I started a gardening vlog because I kind of had wanted to do that last year, and then I chickened out because I just felt like there wasn't enough to talk about. which is kind of why I guess you don't really see a lot of people doing like progressive vlogs about their balcony gardens, because it does change, but it's so little. Like, it feels weird to be like, and here's my tomato, I have one tomato growing. So this year, basically what I'm going to be doing is kind of a parallel, is like, here's my balcony garden and here's my big garden. I have a lot of dwarf and like smaller container friendly varieties that I'm going to be experimenting with on the balcony, as well as some of my like good solid die hard like regular things that I usually plant out there. And then I also have a ton of things that I'm going to be planting in my large garden. So I'm hoping to get a lot of harvest. I already have been looking around to see if there's places that I can donate things, because I know that certain things I'm going to harvest more than I can possibly eat. I think the food bank accepts produce if you donate it, so I'm hoping that I can maybe do that so that I can kind of like spread some of my produce. But I'll also be like sharing with my family and friends and coworkers and stuff, whatever I grow. I'm going to work on preserving some this year. I, once again, have limited capabilities to do that. I can't really get a pressure canner, so I'll really only be able to do things that I can do like a water bath canning in, but I'm going to try. I want to try to make stuff like jams. I might can some tomatoes, because I have a lot of varieties of tomatoes that I'm planning on growing, and peppers and stuff like that that you can water bath can. So I'm still doing research on that, and that's a little bit off, a little while off. So basically just kind of waiting around right now. I don't think I'm going to have another gardening vlog out this week, at least, maybe next week, because there's not really a lot to talk about right now. I was really excited last week just to show that it was going to happen and have an intro, but yeah, there's not a lot that I can do right now other than get a little bit of planting out in the balcony. And unfortunately, we have hi bud. Unfortunately, we are going to have a frost on Sunday night, so I can't plant a whole lot right now. I might try to plant more on Monday. I have a lot of stuff in my little greenhouse, and yeah, so I'm probably not going to talk about my garden a whole lot out on here. I still plan on sitting out there on my balcony when it's nice outside again and there's actually stuff to see, but for now, like today, it was too wet to do that. I had kind of wanted to, but it was too wet. So yeah, so that's what's going on. I'm really excited to share my garden with everybody. So if you want to see the kind of intro episode where I talk about that stuff and kind of show you where I went and the seed store and everything, if that interests you, the first episode is out. It's going to be on the same channel, but I call the series Fruits and Roots. So that's live on my YouTube channel if you're interested. So yeah, I think that's all I have to share today. I thank you for joining me. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all those fun YouTube things. And yeah, just take care of yourselves, guys, because it's a lot of stuff's going on right now, and I know my anxiety's been pretty high, and I can imagine other people's are as well. So grab a cat if you're not allergic, snuggle them, take care of yourselves, wash your hands. All right, guys, bye.